number 7. We have 162 cigarettes to go. We are burning through these motherfuckers like a... So I didn't smoke before the gym today, and I noticed really no change, still very low energy, just kind of weak. Got everything done, but still very weak, not really giving much of a shit. It's not the cigarettes. Like before the workout, it's either me getting more addicted to cigarettes and using them too much, or it's just kind of a bad depression that I'm kind of prone to getting. Nothing new for me. Could also be because I'm not taking pre-workout while I'm injured. I don't want to go fucking sicko mode and just completely fuck my shit up. That could easily be why as well. But cigarettes before the workout or after the workout does not matter. I'm still feeling the same way. I'm gonna see my doctor today about my ankle. And he said it's looser than a fucking whore, so that sucks. So, would be pretty fucked up if I needed surgery to fix something. It's a torn ligament. It'd be really nice if it was just something that's gonna heal itself as long as I don't fuck around or fall down the stairs a second fucking time. That would be fucking great. But as of now, I will probably need an MRI, and that's probably either another month or maybe half a month of me not doing jack shit, which is starting to piss me off. I'm gonna pull a smoke ring test here. Let me see if I can do one. Ooh, I almost got one there. Almost fucking got one. Hold on. Railing's gonna come loose. I'm gonna eat so much shit on that fucking pavement. Fuck you, Wind, you fucking dick. Do that shit right in my eye. Fucking dickhead. Alright. What do I have to talk about today? I wrote down bbls and verbal to physical violence. Very good topics. Let's talk about the asses first. That's what I'm interested in. Brazilian butt lifts. I mean, I don't really care if I can tell it's like plastic surgery. It still looks hella good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you got porn star proportions. It doesn't look bad. Like, I know it's fake. I know the fucking, like, a painting's fake, but it looks like the sky. It might look good. Or like, there are many metaphors for that shit. I mean, I'm not retarded. I know it's fake. And, like, I can kind of see the distribution is off from a normal person. Especially when it's, like, a huge ass and, like, small thighs. So it's obvious, like, there's not, like, the distribution the way it's supposed to. But it does fucking get me going. I'm not gonna lie and say, like, oh no, dude, her distribution's off. She looks like a fucking idiot. I mean, I haven't seen any women in my personal life that had a BBL for... The reason for me didn't make sense, because if I got like a fucking, like a cock extension or something, or plastic surgery make myself look like a supermodel, and like I'm working in a career that kind of puts me around people that are liable to fucking slide their hand down my pants, it'd probably be a bad idea. And I know two women, one that goes to my gym and one that works at the hospital over there. And it's very obvious they've got like work done, and like they got like porn star proportions. And like every time I see him, it drives me fucking insane. I start crawling on the walls and foaming at the fucking mouth. I'm a very simple man. But a prison guard and like working at a hospital, that's kind of dangerous place to be, like looking very, very fuckable. Like obviously prison guard, not exactly the place you want that kind of attention, because you're gonna be attention unless you're like carrying like your gun like right on your fucking cock, like ready to go, or you break somebody's fucking knuckles for reaching for you, like set an example. But I mean at the hospital we can't do that shit. And like women working in EMS, like they're gonna get groped, they're gonna get flirted with, and some people might straight up just like start screaming at them because they don't respond to their advances. Like we work around plenty of people that aren't fucking all together there, and if they take a liking to you, they're gonna fucking let it be made known. Especially old people that don't give a shit. Old people that don't give a shit, they fucking felt me up. Like I'm a guy. I've had a couple patients grab my ass, like old men, maybe like a couple like old women that are shooting their shot. But obviously it's more of a power thing. I've noticed a lot of the time it's the women that have to deal with it, or it's students, EMS students that we take on the ambulances to give them a little taste. I know when I was a student, I had a lady, maybe about 35 or 40, she started creeping her hand up my thigh, and I really didn't know what to do about it, because I was a student, I was new. Like, I mean, obviously what you would do is just be what you always do. It's like, hey, you crazy bitch, get the fuck off me. But even still, I wasn't really all the way there socially, knowing how to deal with a situation like that. My preceptor though was a fucking guy. He was a fucking unit. He told her straight up, not in a way that's like begging for a fight, in a very professional but strict way, keep your hands to yourself. Do not touch him. And that's the way to fucking do it. Now women, a lot of them don't want to like make it awkward because they feel like they'll be like kind of pushed out. But I mean, as a woman, I'd say you even have to step it up further. Because just saying like keep your hands to yourself, it's not gonna matter to some guys. I've seen one nurse, she got groped by this guy. He fucking straight up just grabbed her tit while she was taking vitals on him. And she laid down the fucking law. You do that again, you're going away in cuffs. Fuck you, motherfucker. And that's kind of the way to do it. You gotta be fucking mean. You gotta bite in. Put some bass in your fucking voice. Or else they think you're playing around. They won't take you seriously. But especially as a woman in EMS, you gotta be fucking ready to get in a verbal altercation with somebody if they're pulling shit like that. Because I think that just goes right into my other point. All violence or unwanted advances is always going to come from it's never going to be out of nowhere, unless it does come out of nowhere, which sometimes it does. But there's an advancement. A person that wants to fuck with you, and there are plenty of examples that I've seen where people have wanted to fuck with me, and I've caught on these little details about it. If they want to fuck with you, they're gonna make their way slowly through the steps. They're gonna find your line, try to push over the line ever so gently to see if you pull back that line in response to them. So, for example, I got this one guy, and this guy was a real dick. And we're taking him to the hospital, and when I read on the facility he was at was like a government facility for people in crisis. From what I read on the report, this guy was smearing shit on the walls and like exposing himself to female nurses. And so when we got him, he didn't just start with that. He started very subtly, just kind of ordering us around like we're his fucking little bitch boys. First thing that pissed us off, that he was trying to piss us off with, was his 3 garbage bags full of like paper and fucking knickknacks and bullshit that he wants coming with this. And I think from what I heard like a week before this incident was like when another ambulance crew picked him up, he had like a whole shopping cart full of stuff, and basically he just held the ambulance there like as long as he fucking could, kind of telling them, I want to go to the hospital. Okay, so we have to take him to the hospital now, but if I'm going to the hospital, you have to take all my stuff with me. So shopping cart, all this bullshit, obviously that's not going to fit in an ambulance, we can't do that. So we tell him, yeah, no, go fuck yourself. Well, I didn't tell, I wasn't there. This is the story I heard. So then he says, well, I'm not going without my shopping cart. And we say, well, then you're not going, but I want to go to the hospital by ambulance. And so now we're stuck in a loop. It's his way or the highway, and he's gonna keep them on scene for as long as he possibly can, going through that same argument over and over and over and over and over again. See how far he could push him. Now he didn't do that with us. He had said like use 2 trash bags. And so, annoyingly enough, we kind of just went with it. Dude, I gotta stop fucking dropping my... I need to get like a bottle out here to put these butts into, so I'm just dropping them on the fucking ground. So, get him loaded up, and he's just very, very shitty to us, being very rude. And rude is okay. Some people are rude, and you get used to it in an ambulance, because they're having a fucking bad day. What do you expect? Like, if I would have my arm broke, I'm not gonna be super happy and fucking, like, sucking your dick when you get in your ambulance. I'm gonna be in a bad mood. We're okay with that. We'll get over it. We'll tell you to fucking watch your mouth with us, but I'm not gonna be all pussy about it. We had a student with us too this time, and I think he caught on to that weakness. He started trying to order her around, like, you do this, not can you do this, it's you do this now. And it's stuff like that. It's like he's setting himself up into a position of authority with us. He's setting himself up that he's here and you're here, and he's trying to control you. He wants you to move when he tells you to move. He's not asking you to move. He's not asking you to do something. He's not asking you for help. He's telling you what he wants you to do. And these are very, like, the kind of stuff that if you weren't really thinking about what he was doing, you really wouldn't, like, flinch. Like, get me a blanket, I'm cold. And why wouldn't I get him a blanket? I was gonna get him a blanket anyway, but now he's made it a power thing. Come here, bitch. Daddy wants his nicotine. And now it's a power thing, and now we're having a problem. Because I don't want to deal with this guy where he's throwing shit and starting to rip his dick out at me. And where it goes is from the verbal to the physical. From here he starts getting more verbally aggressive and abusive, calling us assholes or telling us we're pieces of shit, and amping it up from there. Now, what people don't really understand about the verbal to physical violence thing is that it starts at verbal and then it ends at physical. So he gets pissed off, he's screaming at us, he's calling us all kinds of names, he's being kind of a shithead, and now this didn't happen. We stopped him at just being a shithead to us. We got him to the hospital, he did his fucking bullshit, and we transferred care of the nurses and they dealt with him after that. And then he had to start to cycle over, because he can't just start all the way over here, the nurses are going to act. He's got to find their line and start inching his way across it. But from there, and this is what I've seen in other patients, is now it's very, like, verbally aggressive, and then to not completely physical, but close to the line. So, like, he'll start throwing shit in the ambulance. Not at us, but throwing shit in the ambulance. And then from there, it'll come to throwing shit and it almost hits you, and then throwing shit that it hits you, and then throwing shit that hits you hard, and then actually just trying to hit you. And that's usually, for the lack of like a professional way of saying how they kind of manage to turn a verbal altercation into physical violence with you if they want to. And they want to. It's not something where, I'm not sure if they choose to do it, or maybe it's like something in their brain that wires them to doing it, especially with drunks. The drunks will do that with you a lot, not just people that just kind of have like a power dynamic they want to enforce with you, because you'll catch on to those pretty quick with the way they talk to you, and kind of like how they figure out how your system works. With us, we have to verify that they are of sound mind and body to refuse service, and then some people will figure out, okay, if I answer their questions wrong, I can force them to take me even though I don't want to go, and then they kind of play the game with you to fuck with you. I've had a couple patients do that with me, and then it's kind of a pain in the ass. Just a very legally questionable situation where you really need to get a lot of paperwork, you need to get a lot of witnesses to show that, okay, he's pulling this shit, he does not want to go. We have verified that he is a sound mind and body and can refuse to go to the hospital because if somebody's got their head opened up and he doesn't know where he is and he tells us to fuck off and leave him alone. I can't leave him alone. He's fucking dying. And he's probably just saying that because he doesn't know where he is because he's got his fucking brains leaking out. But we have this kind of thing we have them sign that shows that they've legally refused service, they don't want us to be here, and then we have that on file just in case they want to hire a lawyer and say, oh, well, I suffered their negligence because they didn't take me to the hospital, even though they told us they didn't want to go to the hospital. That happens. I think half of my job is doing paperwork just so I don't get sued. That's really how it is in this country. People love suing. I think that's the only reason we do reports. We have to do a report on every patient, and the only reason we do is to make sure that we can't get sued after the fact. That's literally the only reason, from what I understand. What the fuck was I talking about before I went on that tangent? Yeah, verbal to physical violence, alright. I pretty much said everything I need to say about that. It goes from verbal then to physical. I'd complain more about that guy though, he was a real dick. He was doing the thing of like the kind of control stuff where he wasn't voluntary, he was actually under a psych hold, so we have to take him. And so he was kind of like doing that malicious compliance thing. So like he's coming, but he's gonna come in like an hour. So he would do this thing. This kind of pissed me off just because of just how simple it was. He says, I gotta wash my hands first. And so he washes his hands for about 5 fucking minutes, really getting down in there, you know? And then he wants to dry his hands, and so what he does is he gets on the little paper towel dispenser and just goes just gets all the fucking paper towels out of the fucking paper towel dispenser. Fuck the guy after him, I guess. Fuck the janitorial staff. And he just goes for like 10 fucking minutes. He's there. And by this point with arguing with this guy, we're kind of done dealing with him. We just fucking let him. And then like after we get him in the hospital and he's giving us all this bullshit around, he does the same thing at the hospital. Like fucking there. Oh my god. We deal with people like that. You gotta know how to deal with them, especially in the way of making sure they can't sue you afterwards, because they will sue you afterwards if they get the chance. Because they're just that kind of people. They like it. They get off on it. They know what they can do. They know what they can't do, and they're gonna fucking play around that can and can't do area because they know it fucks with you. And I guess if they want to play around their shit and play show and tell with the nurses, they're gonna do that too. And the drunks are a different story. Drunks, I've found the easiest way to deal with them is to make sure they stay cool. Because if they're not staying cool, it's like dealing with like a campfire covered in gasoline, you're not putting that shit out. If a drunk guy's pissed off, he's not going to be unpissed off. He's going to stay at that level no matter what. If he's pissed off when you show up to scene, good luck. Because he's going to stay pissed off, and no matter what you say to him, even though you're a different person, you got nothing else to do with it, he's going to stay pissed off. And then since you're the only person there, he's going to stay pissed off at you. And you can try to apologize for whatever bullshit you did to piss him off. It's not going to work. You could apologize your fucking ass off. You can give him fucking, slip him a fucking $1, slip him a cigarette. Say, hey buddy, I'd pay you $100 to fuck off. And not be mad at me. It doesn't matter. They're pissed off, they're gonna stay pissed off. And they kind of hit this limit where they're not even listening anymore. They'll just kind of repeat the same phrase over and over about what you did to piss him off. I remember this one guy. He was like drunk on the side of the road, and in my county, we don't have a drunk tank, so every drunk person we find on the side of the road has got to go to the hospital. It's not to get fucked up. Always got the sirens on the highway. You can't hear those on the highway. You go faster. Cars in front of you can't hear the sirens. So obviously we gotta ask those questions. We gotta take them to the hospital because legally that's what we have to do. Even though they don't want to, you don't need to. And obviously the nurses don't want them there because now they're taking up a resource they could use for the patients that need it, but we have to do it because it's a law. But we ask him the questions. He's like there in his underwear, shirt off, totally fucking wasted. His friends are there that could take him home, but we still have to ask these questions. And if he can't answer, we don't have anyone that can take care of him, we have to take him. So we ask him the questions. He's not really listening to us. He's pissed off. He starts getting pissed off and riled up. It's like, why the fuck are you asking me these questions? And, now the campfire followed with gasoline is starting to get lit, starting to get some sparks. Uh-oh. And basically just in like 2 minutes he's screaming at us, and the cops are there kind of restraining him. He's like, dude, relax. And he tries to kick my partner in the fucking face. And I think I had my fucking my action movie moment, like stopping it before it got him, and I told him some fucking shit like, you do that, you're gonna be a world of fucking hurt. I said something like that. I think it sounded cooler on scene. But when they hit the point of no return as a drunk, they're just kind of repeat the same thing over and over, and they're not listening to you anymore. It doesn't matter what you're saying. You can't bring them back down. You can't argue with them. You can't reason with them. They'll say like, what was he saying? God, I can't remember it. I think I tuned him out too, just because he was just saying the same thing over and over. He was super pissed off, but he said it over and over. He's not listening to us, and then obviously he starts trying to kick at us, and then the cops grab him. It depends. Some people are weird, where it's like violent, but it's not directed at you because they're like in a complete psychiatric meltdown. And those ones are difficult. You really gotta you gotta be reasonable. You gotta try your best, because you can't just go straight to fuck it, tie this motherfucker down to the gurney, because then you're in a whole other different fight, and you might not have the people to deal with that fight, because the dude's like super amped up. He might be on drugs, and he is not going down without a fucking fight, motherfucker. But it's really those moments where it's like you get your partner to drive you as fast as they can to the hospital. You talk to him, try to coach him down, keep him calm. They're freaking the fuck out, throwing shit around your ambulance, screaming and shit. I remember one guy, I think I did the best job I could ever do with him. He was really screaming, pissed off. I think when we left, like, he tried to throw something near my partner. He was like escalating that kind of violence, so kind of a bad deal there. We don't want to do that. He threw something at the window of the ambulance as my partner's closing the door, we have cops there with us, but they don't really do anything unless somebody crosses the line completely. And as I already said, they know where the line is, and they get as close to it as possible. But he was. Oh my god! I just remembered what he fucking said to me. This fucking guy. He was screaming. His meltdown was about flashbacks he was having to his sister being raped. That's what he said to us. He repeated that a couple times, and then at the end, he said some wild shit about it. He said, I watched my sister get bukkakied, and I mean, that's fucking horrible, but it just came so out of nowhere. I just stopped myself so fucking hard from laughing, because if I did, that would be it. It would be a fight. But I was talking to the guy the whole time, and like, just trying to keep him calm. I remember he said something along the lines of, why the fuck are you talking to me? And I think I said, I'm just trying to make conversation, big dog. And he was like, oh, you want to have a conversation? You want to rub my back? I think he was gay. He was flirting with me there. And then I said, oh, you got to take me out to dinner first. And that calmed him down. He started laughing with me. So that kind of de-escalated pretty well. I remember one of my teachers back in the day said, like, the best thing you can do is have a humor in ambulance, both for yourself and for your patients. Laughing with people, telling jokes, making sure people are laughing, keeps them calm, kind of helps them with pain. Plus, just laughing in general, just dealing with trauma that we deal with, the kind of shit we see, kind of keeps our shit together. Of course, then I say some shit that gets me eyebrows raised. I gotta stop myself now and then. Every time at church I come up, I find like something, oh, this would be funny to say. Oh wait, would they find it funny, or would they fucking, they have to talk to me afterwards? Like, hey man, can you not say that in front of the kids? I remember this one guy. He was so tweaked out on something. I don't know what he was tweaked out on, but he was a big, scary motherfucker. He was at least like 235, 245, 6'5", black guy. Fucking huge. He's wearing nothing but a fucking pair of underwear. And this is a big motherfucker. He was tweaked out on meth, and when people are like tweaked out on meth, they're very scary because they get unpredictable. They're not going to sit there and talk to you sometimes out of nowhere. They might scream as loud as they fucking can. They might grab something and throw something. They might just break something. They might just fucking jump up and start running around or something. It's very fucking... You gotta just roll with the punches, man. You can't freak out, because if you freak out, then they're going to freak way out. And obviously we can go like, fuck it, just sedate them and tie them down the gurney. Sure, we can do that, but then we got to deal with them tied down the gurney and everything from that. This guy actually at the hospital, that had to happen. We got him from his house to the hospital without too much of a big issue, but then at the hospital, it was just go time. He was fighting like hell. So everybody had to jump out on him, and then the hospital staff, doc, nurses, had to get a fuck ton of sedatives into him. And after the first couple ones, I thought he was done. I thought, alright, he's out, he's going to stay out, he's relaxed, we can chill. And I leave, and I'm about to pack up my shit and bounce, and I hear, like, from the room, hurry up with those drugs, get in here! And like, holy shit, he was still fucking fighting. They had to fucking put him all the way out and intubate him to finish this fucking incident. He was not stopping, though. And like, on the way there, I was not wrestling with this guy. I was not trying to put anything into him that I had already Narcaned him, just because like, he was one of those guys that like was on an upper and downer at the same time. I think it was fentanyl, because I saw like his eyes were constricted and he wasn't breathing right, so I Narcaned him. I made sure to do it really quick. I had a firefighter hold his arm, and then I grabbed his arm and I got up into his nose and got him twice, and then just backed off before he could like swing at me. Because the whole time he was kind of like in bed, like zoned out, but he would like flinch and like throw an arm around or something. We got him in the gurney somehow, and the scary part was he would kick. He wouldn't be kicking at you, technically, but he would kick out. And since we're at the head and the foot of the gurney, whoever's at the foot of the gurney, if you're not careful from people like that, they will just kick the shit out of you. I think one of my homeboys, he actually lost a fucking tooth that way. He was pulling some bitch out of the ambulance, and she fucking got him right in the fucking mouth. He lost a fucking molar. Talking too much, I'm not smoking enough. Smoke more, talk less. Well, obviously we're not fucking with that. I was on the foot and I had to lift him into the ambulance. And I got this firefighter, said hold his legs down. And the guy kind of drapes his arm over him and said, no, hold his legs down. Hold his legs down. And then I fucking pick him up, get him in there. And I called a report to the hospital. I told him, yeah, have security meet us outside. And I don't know how I talked to this guy, man. Because the whole time he is... You really feel the size of that ambulance when it is just you and some big-ass, drugged-out motherfucker. He ripped all his seatbelts off while we were driving. He got up, he sat down, he started ripping shit, like, off his arms, freaking out, screaming, but he wasn't doing anything yet. I was just watching him, just waiting. That's not lit. But somehow, like, when we got to the hospital, somehow I managed to convince him to get back in the gurney and let me buckle him back up. I said, hey man, we're getting in the hospital. Can I have you lay back down on the gurney for me? I'm gonna buckle you in, okay? And he got in. I was fucking surprised he did. Catch more flies with Kanye, I guess. Hops in, fucking buckling very carefully because I don't want to get fucking just swung the fuck on and turn into fucking mush. Because I actually heard a story that EMT that happened to a drug addict. Actually, he swung at her, put her down between like the bench seat of the ambulance and the gurney. There's this little fucking ditch right there where we put our legs. He got her down there, he got on top of her and just started wailing on her. And like obviously that's a really shitty situation to be in because you could fucking die or just get through the life we're in. Somehow she managed to just snap into a fucking Slim Jim and reverse it, start beating his fucking ass. Thank God for that, or else she'd be a fucking red stain on the ambulance floor. But I like to, whenever I'm next to somebody I think is gonna swing, I like to kind of turn my leg over each other so that I've got my nuts hidden. Because that way, if they fucking swing, they hit me in the thigh, or they hit me like in my guard rather than hitting me in the nuts or my face. I like to be ready for that shit. Because, I mean, obviously if I get hit in the nuts, that might be it. I would go fucking drop it on the ground and he can get on top of me and just kill me. But anyway, get him buckled up, get him out of the ambulance. I have somebody hold his legs down. We get him in the hospital bed, and then, well, I think I hurt my back doing that. Yeah, I hurt my back because I was leaning over the rail because some asshole didn't put it down, and I was just kind of holding him down like this, and it was just putting so much strain on my back. But yeah, we had to wrestle. Do a little wrestling. I've noticed it's a lot easier to wrestle with people that are like bigger than you because you can put your whole weight into them. But like people that are smaller, when like they're freaking out, like little like small women, like old people, they're actually harder to wrestle with because you're holding back. Because you don't want to fucking hurt them. You don't want to like manhandle them down. But they're willing to throw. They're fucking ready to do or die. And so, you know, you actually kind of have to get a little bit more force on them, because your first thing you're going to do is try to hold back because they're smaller than you, and it's just a natural instinct in your brain. You cannot fucking grab like a small woman, a small person, a small guy, or like an old person, and like manhandle them like that because it's wrong and you'll hurt them. But if you don't put enough force into them, they're gonna wrestle loose from you and start swinging at you or hurt themselves. I used to scream along with this shit in the ambulance. I fucking miss it, man. Get back to work and back to what I want to fucking do, man. This fucking foot needs to heal so I can get back in there. Because this sucks at cock, dude. I'm just doing my fucking job. I'm just rocking out with the homie. I think if anything, if someone's like gonna turn into a wrestling match, it should definitely happen at the hospital, not back of the ambulance. Sometimes it happens, but usually you have either like a firefighter there to help you out, maybe a cop. But it's at the hospital, like we have guaranteed staff, we have plenty of people, and we have like better drugs, and we can just calm people the fuck down. It's a great way to just like keep them calm-ish until we get there. I think I do that pretty often. I mean, not fun for the nurses when I bring someone who's like, hey, guess what? You're gonna have to sedate someone today, but better there than our shit. You at least have staff to deal with that. If it's just me and my partner, like, what the fuck? That's a bad situation, man. Two guys can't hold one person down if they're fucking coked up. I think it says in like in our teaching book for EMTs, if you're gonna restrain somebody, you need every single person on a limb. That's one arm, to one leg, holding down their waist, and then holding their head, because they will try to bite you or headbutt you or spit at you. And I mean, that's a lot of people we don't have, especially like out in the field. At the hospital, yeah, they got them. Even the fucking janitor will jump in. Fucking homie right there, man. I miss all my fucking buddies, dude. Make friends with every single fucking guy I see at the hospital, every single CNA, nurse, and janitorial staff, and I miss them. Should fucking fall down the stairs a second time. Maybe I gotta see them over there. It's like, hey, guess who fell down the stairs? Hi, it's good to meet you. Good to see you again. Actually, I better not do that. Shit costs too much. $2,000 for a fucking hospital visit in the ER? Fuck that, man. And $2,000, you just buy horror. It's a way better deal for your money. Plus, you get to fuck them. Ooh, that popped. My physical therapist said that's a good thing. I need to be popping. So that means my joints kind of coming back together and everything is getting wired up the right way. God, you win. You're being a whore. I've heard stories from the older EMTs where people had to deal with like a knife or a gun getting pulled on them. I think my homie told me he had a knife pulled on him at a gas station, and then another time, like he went on scene and the door opened and just a fucking gun barrel just peeks around the fucking door. Like, Jesus Christ, man, what a fucking mess. I've been swung at it a couple times, but I haven't had a weapon pulled on me yet. the nicest meth head I ever met. Thank God for this guy. He was tweaking out like a meth head, but he was like, he was trying to get into his bag, and that's not like something like he wanted to do something to me or he wanted to get something in his bag that could hurt us. It's just because meth heads, they like to get into their stuff and like reorganize it and make sure everything's there, and they'll do it like for hours at a time. You'll see them on the side of the road or like truck stops or something that they have like a bunch of stuff like around their feet, and like they're going through everything. That's what they're doing. They're emptying their bag out, and they're going through every single last thing and making sure everything's there, and they'll just do it again and again and again until they get tired and pass out. Either that or they're looking for something, but they'll do that. So he probably just wanted to root through his bag the way meth heads wanted to do. And I told him, oh yeah, I remember. So the cops, they gave us this guy, and then they just bounced. They didn't check his bag, they didn't check his person or anything. They're supposed to do that for us. They're supposed to make sure that somebody with a weapon isn't getting into our ambulance in a way that could hurt us. And they've fucked that up before, where they've had a guy with a bag with 2 loaded guns in it. I heard that story from somebody. She got 2 loaded guns in a fucking bag, and I think she knows everybody, so she called somebody in the police department and said, hey, excuse me, one of your fucking cops didn't search this bag. Now there's 2 loaded guns in my fucking ambulance. What are you gonna do about it? So they didn't pat this guy down, and he wants to get in his bag, and even though I know he's probably just rooting through shit, I'm not gonna give it to him just in case. I'm gonna err on the side of caution in any situation I'm put in, because I don't want to die. I don't want to get fucked up. I don't want to risk it. And I told him, nah, dude, just for the sake of safety, we're gonna give it to hospital staff. The security's gonna look through it, and they're gonna give it back to you. And he says, what are you looking for? I said, anything that's gonna, what's that cop line? Cops always use this line, and I memorized it because it's a good fucking line. Do you have anything in your pockets that might poke me, stab me, or stick me? Stuff like that. So I said that, and he said, oh, you mean like this? And he starts mixing with some in his pocket, and it's like an outline. It's like, yeah, just like that, I'll take that. And there's a box cutter. Nice little box cutter in his pocket. And, you know, God bless him, man. Like, he didn't whip it out at me. He peeked it out, and I saw it was a box cutter, and I grabbed it. He didn't, like, get all pissed off or try to grab it or grab me. He was a really fucking nice meth head. And even though he was kind of tweaking out like a meth head does, he was a very nice meth head, and I love him. Other meth heads are not so nice. Other meth heads will freak upset. I just remember this other story about that. This other meth head. This guy, for I think a 20-minute drive to the hospital, was arguing with someone on his phone, and it turned out his phone was dead. It was a broken phone. He was arguing, like a full-length argument with like this imaginary girlfriend he was talking to. Full length. He was like, yes, I love. He was like, babe, stop. Babe, you gotta stop. Just calm down, babe. He was going through that for 20 minutes on a broken phone. And my partner was like, dude, who was he arguing with? Nobody. He wasn't arguing with anybody, dude. He was fucking talking to himself. God bless him, man. You know what? I don't really give a shit what kind of crazy stuff happens as long as they're not trying to threaten me or fight me. Like, really, I don't care as long as I come home. If you want to tweak out on your own time, and you want to be a bit of a whack job, as long as you're not violent with me, I don't care. Should be counting my fucking blessings. I haven't been counting my cigarettes. I think this is like 5. How many I have left? 157. We are fucking flying through these things, man. I might get done with this faster than I thought I did. Definitely need to eat something with some sugar in it. I'm getting dizzy. Let's see, what day is it? Day number 7. Over and done with. It's only been a week since I started. Probably sum up the week here. Starting to feel cravings, starting to really kind of enjoy my nicotine here. It's not pissing me off as much as it does. I don't think it's as gross as it was. I'm kind of starting to enjoy myself. Really starting to scratch that itch in my head, make me feel better. Definitely kind of uplifting my mood, so starting to get little seeds of addiction in there that I can start working with. Don't you fucking run away from me, you little bitch. Caught that with my toes. Alright, see you tomorrow.